Back wings on the left side. Newton's going to run the ball. He gets hit. He flipped up in the air. He doesn't get there. Clock ticks down. It's all zeros. What a play by the Seahawks defense. They throw their helmets. They are going nuts on the field. Cam Newton. The first time tonight, I believe they've stopped him dead in his tracks, and I believe it was Bobby Wagner who got there to do it. What an end to what a game. The Seahawks win 35-30 over the Patriots. Wow.
Wow, LJ Collier just...
And that's the way it sounded on Sunday Night Football as the Seahawks take down the Patriots and a Cam Newton that, looked like 2015 MVP Cam. That's what we're going to talk about. This is the Pick Vault NFL Sunday recap and Monday Night Football preview. Keep listening for more.
Welcome to the Pick Vault. Taking sports gambling to the next level. No more winging it. It's time to get paid. We're a sports gambling consultation firm. We use sports, news, sports data, stats, and analytics. And we help you unlock your money. Get ready to start winning. This is the Pick Vault. And here's Matt Taylor and Danny Siv.
It's the Pick Vault. Gonna sit you down and listen to this real talk. Ain't no first or second option, this the default. Turning picks into these dollars, gonna let them fall. Raining down these daily winnings like an aerosol. Analytics calculated just to win it all. Problems when it comes to choosing, we got all them solved. Got the picks that needin' fixed, and you know who to call. Cause this the Pick Vault.
And that is Jay Alive, and he is right. This is the Pick Vault. Check out his music on Spotify, Apple Music. Kid's up and coming, and I'm telling you one thing, he's going to be big one day. So look at him now, listen to his music now. Jay Alive, official, I believe, is his Instagram handle. So again, this is the Pick Vault. I'm Matt Taylor alongside Danny Siv. And, one of the coolest weekends, in my opinion, so far, obviously so far, it's week 2 here in the NFL, but one of the coolest weekends that we've seen in football. Everything from comeback wins,
injuries, rookies
stepping up, and like you said, injuries, maybe a few upsets along the way, and games coming down to the final possessions. So Dan, let's hop right into it, talking about this NFL week number 2. Let's start it. Start it with Thursday Night Football. Joey Burrow taking on Baker Mayfield. That was a storyline. We talked about it there in episode 1 of the Pick Vault podcast. But how did you think Joey Burrow looked there in week number 2 here against the Browns team and Odell Beckham? Again, we'll talk into about it. But what do you think? What do you think about the rookie phenom, Joe Burrow?
If I'm a Bengals fan, I'm pleased. 100%. How could you not be? I think he threw for like 3 touchdowns. He looks poised. Put up 30 points. That's impressive. That's a good Browns team. For the Baker side of things, he had to. I know everyone. You know what my problem here is? Everyone said he had to outshine Burrow, but did he? Baker played well, highest QBR rating for the weekend, so give him props for that. Good stuff. He did what he had to do. They ran for 225 yards, so obviously that was a big, disappointment on the Bengals side, rush defense wise. But really, Burrow is a rookie, and last time I checked, Baker's been in the league for 3 years, so I don't even know how you compare the two of them.
Comparing the two, we said.
It's not comparing apples to oranges, kind of like you said.
It is. It's an apples and orange comparison. But what I will say is on the field, and there is some fairness in making the comparison. These are 2 NFL quarterbacks because now they're on the same. They're on the same
level,
stage,
right? But you're talking game 2, week 2, compared to year 3.
Oh, absolutely. Well, here's the thing. What a game, and we talked about it, and I was right, and I'm not going to say you were wrong, but you were definitely
I was
wrong.
definitely not wrong, because last time, you go first.
So, again, I came down to, it was going to be, and I will say I thought they would, I didn't know Burrow was going to play as well as he did.
All right, yeah,
he looked
fair.
Great,
and you know what? I respect it, because I did not think Baker was going to play that well either.
Well, again, you said you didn't want to say, it's not fair to say that Baker needed to outshine Burrow, but that's exactly what happened here. No, as much as Burrow put up, good numbers, Baker won the game. And for the first time, in my opinion, that I've seen since that rookie year. Last year, in my opinion, he didn't look good at all. This was the first time I've seen Baker actually look poised back there. And something where I didn't. I'm watching the TV and I'm not expecting a negative outcome.
Correct.
It's the first time that I've had that feeling with Baker Mayfield in a while. And again, that's a positive.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a positive, but again, it's only a positive to a degree because in the back of my mind, there's going to be those turnovers. And there was. Again, down the stretch, he makes that turnover. That's what I was going
to say. Bad throw. Like, think about if he makes that throw, Bengals probably don't cover.
Well, here's something I want to talk about. Obviously, like we said, Baker Mayfield, 16 for 23 for 219 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 pick. Burrow, on the other hand, this is what I want to get into. Who the hell sends out a rookie? I think it's unfair. Who the hell sends out a rookie and has him throw 61 passes?
You got to be impressed.
Burrow went 37 for 61, 316 yards, and 3 touchdowns. For the rookie phenom, your LSU beauty boy, and I just got to say,
no, he does look good back there too.
You got to be careful. 61 passes. That's wild.
He might have got to get the Tommy John. I feel it. His arm probably. I can't imagine how I felt the next day. But it's
so good. Just giving a recap here. You know, Browns win the game 35-30 in a closer game. Again, on the scoreboard, it looks a little bit closer than it really came out to be because they get that backdoor score.
Yeah, the old backdoor
down the end. But again, some of our projections were right on. I mean, the pickball projection was 24-20. So again, around a 4-point win for the Browns. We were very close. 5-point win for the Browns. And all of a sudden, I said, hey, what was the player pop I threw out there? I kind of forget. Oh, wait, no, I don't. I said Odell Beckham Jr. to score a touchdown. That's exactly what happened. He didn't, he wasn't doing some celebrations. That
he didn't poop on the field like I was hoping. But, who else scored a touchdown? My player prop, Kareem Hunt. Absolutely. Late, like you said, though, you called it. Thank you. I said first half. I'll give you credit. You did say fourth quarter.
So we were, again, on the night.
And the over, skyrocketed.
Yeah, over was massive. And we both picked the over. And we both really won. I mean, I got the money line right. You got the money line wrong. But you got the spread there. And you had to take the money line, and I agree. If you're going with the spread, I love the fact
that there was value, a lot of value.
You're right there. So anyway, like I said, 35-30 win. And then all of a sudden we head into Sunday. And let's start here with the 1 o'clock games, right? And this is the point of, maybe before we get into the 1 o'clock games, the biggest storyline, obviously, when you turn on the television this morning is, hey, injuries out the ass.
Oh, yeah.
And so, Dan, out of all the injuries, again, we're talking a lot of injuries. Which injury do you think is going to have the biggest impact on the NFL season? And then, obviously, talking about fantasy, and we'll go into that. But really, what was the biggest injury of the day in your mind?
All right, before we get into that, let me just run you down the injuries because there are a ton. So you got to give me a second here. All right, so we got Saquon Barkley, obviously Giant, probably out for the season. We got Nick Bosa, 49er, unfortunately out for the season. Derwin James, that happened preseason, out for the season. Tavon Young, Ravens, out for the season. CJ Uzomah, I think that's how you pronounce it, Bengals, out for the season. Unfortunately, who will likely miss time? You got Christian McCaffrey, Michael Thomas, Drew Lock, Jimmy G, A.J. Brown, Sterling Shepard. I mean, I need a drink, but then we got Cortland Sutton, Tyrod Taylor, Malik Hooker, Paris Campbell. But I'll go back to that question. The biggest thing that happened this weekend, and it might sound poor. I hope he's okay. I know he had chest pains, but Tyrod Taylor. It might be the best. The fact that he didn't play. Hold on. The fact that he did not play and you got a glimpse of Justin Herbert, I don't know what Lynn is talking about. If Tyrod Taylor is okay, I don't know how you start Tyrod Taylor after seeing that out of Herbert.
Well, there's been a lot of conversations, obviously, going into the season. And really it started, with the draft. Who is the second best quarterback in that draft class? And the conversation was, is it Tua? Is it honestly? I mean, there was talk about Tua, versus Burrow. I think that has been
now it's Herbert Burrow.
Well, here's the thing, and I love it because I said to you back in right around draft time, I said my opinion, the most successful quarterback long term in this league will be Herbert. He's a very smart kid. We saw it at Oregon. Kid can run.
He's got a gun, too.
And he has a hell of an arm. And I will say, X's and O's is what impresses me about him. But he's also not scared to throw him in there. And we saw some of the passes he threw. So he comes out there in that Chiefs game, right? Because Tyrod Taylor has those chest pains. And again, we're hoping something.
No, I hope everything's okay, and the chest pains were just because he was
100%.
going up against the Super Bowl champs. I think that was the only reason why. But Justin Herbert stepped up. That's it.
We're hoping for the best, obviously, for Tyrod Taylor.
Obviously.
But again, it leads into the conversation as we discuss this game. Because, yeah, he comes out there as a rookie, right? And we're like I said, you're talking about a guy that people weren't expecting to get any time.
300 plus yards, man.
People weren't expecting him to get time. So he hops in a situation where you're going up against the Super Bowl champion, best player in the league, highest paid athlete on the face of the earth.
Prime time, that's it.
And everyone's watching. And you come out in the first drive and do what he did. He put together pass after pass after pass after first down run. And then he comes out and I says, boom. I'm going to be the first quarterback for the Chargers to score a rushing touchdown since 2011.
And who was that, Matt? Rivers.
But again, I'm going to be the first one to do it since 2011. And if I'm a Chargers fan, after watching Hard Knocks,
I'm pumped.
I love Lynn. After watching Hard Knocks, you have to like the guy. He's just a serious football guy, and he's someone that he has a little bit of a soft side to him.
Oh yeah,
he likes the energy.
Like
he gets you going. How do you get in the media? I don't care if you're trying to show stable. I don't care if you're trying to show, that we want leadership and stability. Again, it's 2020. Well, stability is not. Again, it's valuable, right? But people in 2020 learn one thing: we could adapt to change, and we can come out better than before, right? We've seen that all throughout the year. 2020 is the year of adaptations. Well, hold on. Justin Herbert gets on the freaking field.
Oh, he adapted.
And against the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs.
Picked them apart.
Puts up 20 points. Like I said, 22 for 33. Great. I mean,
it's
unbelievable. 311 yards, 1 touchdown, and that 1 pick. And it really wasn't his fault.
No, not at all. And one more thing on that game. I mean, we're going to divert from Herbert for a second, but Harrison Butker at the end of that game, 3 field goals. Had to hit a 51, what was it, like a 53-yarder?
Well, he hit a 58-yarder early in the game. And then they have a 53-yard game-winning field goal.
Flag.
And then you get a false start on the offense, pushes it back 5 yards. And then again, Lynn, the guy I love.
Great timeout.
Ices it.
Timeout.
And he drills it. So it's again, he hit the 58-yarder early in the game. He then comes up, hits the 53-yarder, the flag gets called. Move him back 5 yards, gets iced, hits another 58-yarder, okay? Nuts. And then all of a sudden, Chargers no timeouts. Game on the line. Butker's back.
Boom.
And he drills it. So he really, in my opinion, he hit 5 50-plus yard field goals.
If you think about it, if they counted that, they covered the 8.5 for everybody.
Get out of here.
They do.
So anyway, Chiefs win the game after being down. And again, the story of that game, obviously it's the Patrick Mahomes comeback.
Herbie fully loaded, baby.
But it has to be Herbert. So again,
absolutely.
Chiefs win that one 23-20. And Andy Reid looking like, hey, this could be another year where we could see, the Chiefs just pounding everyone. And the one thing I love about the Chiefs, it reminds me of the Golden State Warriors back when they had, the big three,
the boys,
the big,
Curry,
the record year.
Yeah, drag.
They were never out of a game.
No, it's kind of like the Miami Heat.
And it reminds me right now of the New York Yankees. They go down when their lineup is healthy. They're never out of a game. Home run. Totally different animal.
Oh yeah.
But again, you're talking about the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, you were never worried.
And we were watching the game, and I said, "Hey, Dan, I know you got some money down. I know you got the Chiefs.
Oh, please, and then send it right back that way, Matt. Absolutely, but I was worried. I was worried.
So we're watching the game. Dan's all worried, and I'm saying, "Hey, don't worry. We got Patrick Mahomes. We got the wealthiest athlete on the face of the earth."
Yeah, like you got it,
and he knew he was going to come back. There was never a doubt.
Honestly, I don't even want to thank him. I mean, thank Harrison. Really.
So 23-20, Chiefs taking on the Chargers.
Easy.
So now heading into a game that you want to talk about, and it's Giants-Bears. Giants come out a little bit looking good. Saquon looked good, and then what happens, Dan?
It's very depressing to even say it, but obviously everyone kind of knows what happened. But Saquon Barkley out for the year, torn ACL. You absolutely hate to see it. But I mean, honestly, I give the Giants a lot of credit though, because your best probably one of the best player, if not the best player on the field, is out. And Danny Dimes still stayed confident, stayed in the pocket, did what he had to do.
So Daniel Jones was the story that I want to talk about because, again, down 17-0, your best player, again, Saquon Barkley, gets out with that torn ACL. It's gone for the year. And instead of, quivering and cowering back, what happens is you stepped up. And again, he showed me something. And I've never been high on Daniel Jones. Yeah, I'm hopping on the bandwagon here a little bit.
Just a little bit. Not yet.
25 for 40, 241 yards, and no touchdowns but that one pick. And again, that pick was, in my opinion, should have been thrown a little bit, deeper. He underthrew him a tiny bit. So they lose the game 13-17 after being down 17-0. And again, no points. Their defense stepped up in the second half. No points scored in that second half. And again, the Giants come out and almost pull one off and had a chance down the stretch there to really get a chance to win the game.
We needed to win that one. Mitch Trubisky isn't that good either. But
so here we go. The team that I like, and again, I've been saying since day one and put it on record here, someone that you should look at for MVP, Aaron Rodgers coming out, and the Packers take down the Lions 42-21. Now, talking about Aaron Rodgers, this is the guy that was a story of the offseason. Again, a story of the draft because they don't go out there and get him a receiver. They don't do it. But this guy with age just gets better and better. Reminds me of Brady a little bit. As Brady got older, he got more consistent. But Aaron Rodgers a little bit more elusive in the pocket, and he can throw that freaking ball. 18 for 30, 240 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks for the boy. 42 points. They scored. They were down 14-3 at the end of the first. And then they go, in the second and third, they go 14-0, 17-0. And it's just like, you really can't even compete with that.
You know why he's successful, right? He left Danica Patrick.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree 100%. Danica Patrick, you think is the reason that he's stepping up?
Yeah, that is it. No, not stepping up. Now he could just focus on what he has to focus on, which is football, obviously.
Well, whether it's the focus from Danica Patrick being gone or it's the, trying to prove people wrong, and that's where I think it is. No, Aaron Rodgers is trying to prove people wrong today because the talk was, hey, he might be done in Green Bay. He might be done being MVP talent, might be done being, at that Hall of Fame caliber level where he's been playing since he started in the NFL. But it comes down to he stepped up, and like I said, 240 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. They put up 42 points. Got to be in the MVP conversation. 2-0, the Packers are sticking around there, though. And this was one of the stories of the week. Absolutely something that I loved watching. I actually turned the game off early. The Cowboys taking on the Atlanta Falcons. Now, the story of the game has to be the turnaround that the Cowboys put together. I mean, they were down 20-0 in the first. I was ready to say, hey, we're about to see an 80-0 ball game. I'm like, they're on track to win this game. I said it to you. I'm like, dude, they're on track to win this game 80-0. And instead, they turned it around. Win the second quarter 10-9, down 29-10 at halftime. And then all of a sudden in the third quarter, they went 14-0 in the game. And the story's got to be
Dak Prescott.
Greg the leg at the end of the game doing that onside kick.
Oh, no, yeah, that stuff's impressive. I don't even know how you do that. That is like different without a T too. It's like the way he hits it is fascinating.
So again, and this is the player that I don't like the most.
I hate him.
I don't hate him. I really don't hate that many people, but I will say, someone that from a talent standpoint that I do not like, Dak Prescott. Yeah. He's in the media all the time. He's hyped up. And everyone's like, oh, they should pay him because he's one of the greatest. Wait a second. He hasn't won anything yet. And when he does, we'll have a conversation. They're playing in the NFC East. Let's win the division. Let's make it to the playoffs. Let's do something. And then we'll talk about paying you. And I think it was a great move by Jerry Jones not to pay him. But hold on. Here in this one, 34 for 47 for 450 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks.
Impressive. Absolutely.
And Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, 22 carries for 89 yards, one touchdown.
I mean, also his wide receivers definitely stepped up. CeeDee Lamb, 100+ yards, big out of him. High on him too, obviously. Calvin Ridley, 109 yards. He talk about most improved. I think Calvin he has changed like the way he plays. It is impressive.
So again, there's no turnovers really in this game
for the Falcons, obviously too. By the way, not Cowboys.
No, absolutely. I'm saying there really was no turnovers from a defensive standpoint. This game was pretty clean. Dak didn't throw any picks. So, I mean, you're looking at a pretty clean game overall, and it's got to be the talk. It's got to be the fact that these defenses really, really, really stepped up, even after putting up 40 and 39 points.
But the Falcons, they do this all the time. I can't imagine being a Falcons fan. Obviously, we saw it in the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. But how is that coaching? Do you just get out coached, or is that just being outplayed? Is it probably a little bit of a mix of both? But I mean.
But again, there was no turnovers, so you got to say it can't be playing. At some point in time, you have a 20 point lead.
You need to. That should be iced already. That's
it should be over. The game should be. If you go up 20 points in the NFL, and there's a lot of cases where it's not the case,
of course.
But you go up 20 points in the NFL, you really should feel really comfortable winning the game. And the scary part to me was, according to ESPN, the win probability. It never got up, even when they were up 20-0. They were up 20-0, and the win probability was only at 79%. Now that's high.
Yeah, but you'd think it would be 91.
You're up 20-0.
Right, exactly.
I mean,
but it's interesting though with basketball the way they do that too. It's you've seen it all off all the playoffs. I mean, they're up 19, teams are up 15, 17, but some of these teams that they just shoot threes like the Heat, you're never out of a game.
Absolutely. But again, the story is that Greg the Leg onside kick ends up winning them the game. They come down and win it 40-39. Cowboys are now 1-1, and so are the Falcons are 0-2 for the first time in Matt Ryan's career. And as we head here into another game, Titans taking on the Jaguars. Titans come out on top here, 33-30. Close game the whole time. Ended up seeing some big things out of Tannehill, and again, it's another guy, 18 for 24, only had 6 incompletions, but he had 4 touchdown passes. And he threw for 239 yards. On the flip of it, the story that I know you want to talk about.
Yeah, 100%. You could go there. Continue.
No,
you go.
Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, 100%. You got to give the kid so much credit. Absolute credit. He literally, you practically are the face of the NFL. Everyone's saying they're just tanking. Talk about a team that looks like they're tanking, trades all their players away, everything. And Gardner Minshew, and I think a lot of quarterbacks in the league probably wouldn't react the way Gardner is. He gets on the field and absolutely balls out. Doesn't care who's around him. He's a winner. He's a leader, and you like to see that out of Jacksonville because they're gonna have a lot of picks soon. And with a guy in a system that could kind of work these young guys into it, it could be an interesting Jaguars team in a few years. You never know.
So the Titans moved to 33-30, and sticking on that same topic. I mean, they're 1-1, the Jags, and they really had a chance to win this ball game.
100%.
And again, you say they have a chance at picks, and I agree. They had Fournette. I mean, this really this could have been a team where we're seeing a 2-0 team easily, even with the team they have now.
Absolutely.
But if you have Fournette, you're 2-0, and you have some players. But Minshew threw for 2 picks, which has got to clean up a little
100%, 100%.
But he's another guy that I want to look at because
that's a good Titans that's a good defense. So I give him credit.
He reminds me of Baker Mayfield a little bit because I will say this: he's got to prove to me a little bit more. He's 100%. Got the talent. He's done it before. He's surprised everyone.
Yeah, he's got the
Baker's
ego,
done the same
swag.
thing. But now you got to put together, 3, 4,
together.
5, 6, and he's starting to do it. And he did it again. But you got to clean it up. You got to at least throw one less pick there. So heading into now a game another interesting game. Colts and Vikings. Colts come in. Phillip Rivers obviously blew that first game with the late pick, and here they are. They win this one 28-11. But the story of the game here has to be on the other side. Vikings have Kirk Cousins. Vikings have Cooks. I mean, this is a team that really should be in the playoff conversation.
Yeah,
the fact that they're 0-2 is mind-boggling. And 3 picks for Kirk. Maybe
that's bad.
I mean,
but that's classic Kirk Cousins. But to honestly flip it to the other side, Colts had 2 big injuries too. Malik Hooker, Paris Campbell. And I mean, for Malik Hooker, I actually feel bad for this guy. Listen, 2017, he tore his ACL and MCL. In 2018, he had hip and foot injuries. In 2019, he tore his meniscus. And now he just tore his Achilles. So he hasn't even seen the field. But, credit to him, too. Gets up every year, gets right back up.
But at some point in time,
what do you do?
At some point in time, as much as it's terrible to say, as an NFL owner or as a general manager, you got to consider that's a guy that probably you shouldn't be paying money. I'm not saying it's a waste of money because no one is. and I hate describing it that way, but it comes down to if you're going to be injured 3, 4, 5 years in a row, and someone's getting paid for that, and then you got to treat them. And they said already, you're taking that attention away from other people. All of a sudden, you could easily, like I said, wait, and I hate to say it this way, but you could waste some money. So a 28-11 win. Philip Rivers looking a little bit better. Still needs to clean up a few things, and I'm sure that'll come with the new system and everything. And watch, that's a team down the stretch.
Jonathan Taylor.
That's a team down the stretch that you really should be paying attention to as a playoff team, and potentially a team that could definitely make some noise there in the playoffs in the AFC. Staying over here in the AFC, talking about two teams that are of conversation. The Buffalo Bills now 2-0, and they win 31-28 over a Miami Dolphin team that stuck around, and I think they're better than people give them credit for.
Yeah, absolutely.
They stuck around with the Patriots. They stuck around with the Patriots. Now all of a sudden they stuck around here. They only lost by 3, and Fitzpatrick again finding ways to do it. 2 touchdowns, no picks, 328 yards. 31 for 47.
2-point conversion at the end to make it a 3-point game. I mean, it's definitely.
But how about? And this is I hate saying the same lines over and over, but Josh Allen is another guy that I have not been high on.
No,
and
never,
I have not been excited about, and I still am not excited. He's starting to show me a little bit of flair and flavor.
Stephon Diggs is big for them.
Then I think that's exactly what they need.
Yeah.
Bills Nation, Bills Mafia loves that kind of attitude, and Stephon Diggs brings that to the table every single day. He'll talk some trash.
He's a dog.
He'll have some fun, and all of a sudden, they look like they were a little bit more energized this year, and that's something, again, you should watch out. AFC East was hasn't been a strong division in a long time.
Dark horses.
Obviously, they have the Patriots, and they win Super Bowls.
They'll win.
They're there every
fine,
year.
But yeah, it'll be competitive for sure.
But the Bills look like a team that could, again, make some noise if they keep up this excitement and flair and flavor, and all of a sudden they string together some wins. And you have someone like Josh Allen who throws for 417 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks, and puts up a day where he, again, 24 for 35. It's something that you keep saying, and you got to start giving the credit, and I'm going to start giving him credit every day. So, again, my hat goes off to Josh Allen, who I don't like as a starting quarterback, but hey, I'm starting to. So you're starting to turn me, and I'm open to liking you, Josh.
Yeah. The AFC East is tough, too. Jets in there, too.
So speaking of the Jets, and that's a great transition.
All right, good.
And
horrible.
The Jets, a terrible team. Obviously, coming from New Jersey, both of us, Dan and I, are both New Jersey boys. And they lose this one to a 49ers team who is badly beaten with some injuries here. But they lose 31-13. They did the old number switch there with the score 31-13. They win it. San Francisco now is 1-1. And something that you got to talk about. I didn't think they looked that great even in a win, and now all of a sudden you lose Garoppolo and you lose.
And that could be good for them too, though, because I don't think Jimmy G's anything to write home about either.
And you lose. I don't want to get into that.
Yeah, we won't get into that.
I totally agree. But we say that, but he came in through 14 for 16 for 2 touchdowns, no picks, and 131 yards. All of a sudden
and then
he gets
blame
injured.
the turf. They blame the turf. It's getting inspected, by the way, this week.
So the storyline there is the fact that there's been so many injuries so far this year in simply 2 games, at the Meadowlands or MetLife Stadium now. My bad there. But there's been so many injuries there, and you see an ACL tear from one of the best players in the league, and all of a sudden you see a high ankle sprain from Garoppolo, and we're going down. All of a sudden, when you get these, and the reason it's in the news today, and the reason people are talking about it, is the caliber of player who got injured there.
Of course.
If it's not Garoppolo,
if it's not Bosa,
and if it's not Bosa,
absolutely.
The story is hey, 2 players got injured. Yeah. But since 100%. It is these 2 players, all of a sudden we got to do an investigation into the turf and see what's going on.
They should just redo the whole stadium, knock it down. It's due for a change. It really is.
That whole the Jets and Giants need
the whole thing needs to change. Move. No, imagine.
I agree that there's definitely needs to be change, especially when you have put somebody out there like Sam Darnold, who again another player that I just don't see.
It's not even worth the conversation.
But he comes out and he throws for 179 yards, 21 for 32. Offensive line is very tough to play behind, and he gets hit a lot, and it's something that you got to be careful about, especially speaking of not getting injured.
Mm-hmm. They say Becton's going to be something else though.
So on the same token, I know we're going back and forth between teams that I think make a deep run. I've been saying that over and over here. Another team that intrigues me here is the Rams. Now, people have been talking about the Rams. They had that great year, that Super Bowl run. They lose, in a tight, low-scoring game to the Patriots and Tom Brady. And then all of a sudden, last year they came back and they had that Super Bowl hangover, losing the Super Bowl. And you really have a rough year. And all of a sudden, people forgot that the Rams were good. They forgot that Sean McVay.
It's just good offense, man. It's crazy the way
they forgot that Sean McVay knows how to coach, especially on the offensive side.
Yeah,
they run
nuts.
some crazy stuff, especially now getting Wood signing a long-term extension there. And you see what he did.
Yeah, and those aren't even like huge names to me, like Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp. I mean, they're obviously great fantasy guys. I mean, anyone out there in fantasy, pick them up because they rack up yards, points, because they're running all those sweeps and jets, and it's crazy. Sean McVay's a nut though too. I love it.
So Goff, again, behind that Sean McVay offense, and like you said, you like Sean McVay. I know we liked him during Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
Brings the energy every day.
Oh, my God.
Talk about a guy that he just has a diehard love of the game of football.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And Goff is like the opposite, too, which is funny because Goff is like that casual guy and McVay's like, I don't even know if they like each other. They just like obviously winning, but like even on Hard Knocks, I don't know. It's questionable.
I would tell you one thing. McVay, it's got to be hard to be in a room with McVay for a long period of time.
Oh, my God. I lose my mind.
Talk about some guy that has an attention span. I mean, this guy, you can just tell you've been on the sidelines. I mean, good, bad, and different. This guy is jittery. He probably needs to lay off a little bit of the coffee. But hey, whatever he's doing, it's working for him. So they win the game 37-19. They're now 2-0 in the talk. Again, it got to be that they're in a top 5, top 10 team in this league. And I know we're going to go into some of our favorites here, especially after week 2, and we're going to dive really deep into it after week 3. Okay. But again, Jared Goff wins games. On the flip side, this guy Carson Wentz, and this is a player needs to go in my opinion. And
since he got hurt.
Since the beginning, he had one good year. He's one of those players that comes into the league, surprises everyone for 1 year. Kind of reminds me, I'm going to say it, and I know I'm going to get backlash for this, but reminds me of Colin Kaepernick. Comes into the league, takes the league by storm, and then gets injured and is gone.
Yeah, he took the league by storm.
Same thing. Good one. Same thing here. All of a sudden, you got Robert Griffin, RG3, another perfect example. Comes into the league, takes the league by storm, goes on a nice little run. All of a sudden, boom, boom, boom. One thing leads to another, gets injured. Oh, no. Whereas RG3 is the backup quarterback somewhere pretty good, but the backup quarterback.
Where. My boy Lamar.
So this is another guy that reminds me of that. Carson Wentz had a great year, brought them to the playoffs, but he didn't even come up. Dude. He didn't even come up in the playoffs. Nick Foles won that Super Bowl, not Carson Wentz to start there. Carson Wentz got them there, but Nick Foles ended up being the reason they won and obviously put together wins in the playoffs back to back and brought that home for the Phillies, the Eagles fans out there.
I hate that.
So Wentz 26 for 43. They throw the ball a lot. 242 yards. So he really isn't throwing it that deep. Which
and
is
what they put up 19 points?
Two picks, which is concerning. Yes, they put up 19 points, but 2 picks for Carson Wentz, and that's got to be concerning.
Oh yeah.
You lose the Super Bowl. I mean, you the year after the Super Bowl, you lose all that Super Bowl mentality. I mean, they had that underdog. Everyone was all behind them. They're the underdog because they really aren't that good.
Yeah, right.
So
exactly.
if they were to win, I would be surprised.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean, that's what really surprises me is, hey, the reason people were excited when they won is because they were the underdog. You're the underdog now because you're 0-2 and you really are in a bad situation in a division where that's a tough division to win because everyone kind of sucks.
Yeah, good. Next week they play the Bengals too. Should be very interesting. Very interesting.
Watch for your boy Bird.
Joey B.
But again, a loss there makes them an 0-2, and they got to be in the conversation. Yes, the Cowboys win now, leading that division, and it's just you got to watch out. The Giants lose 0-2. I mean, the division is weak. Oh, yeah. You got to see something happen there in the NFC East, and I'm hoping, like you said, the Cowboys can string together.
They should. I mean,
because they're a team that I hope to see do well because I think the NFL is better when the Cowboys are good and better. So anyway,
happy.
A team that I think is going to make a playoff push again. I'm sticking on that. The Steelers, and I actually know we have a caller calling in about in 10 minutes or so. A caller is going to be calling in who is a Steelers fan, a big Steelers fan, and he'll give us obviously some more stuff regarding the Steelers game, but they win one here 26-21. behind Big Ben once again, and it's something that I love seeing. You gotta love Big Ben out there on the field. People want to root against this guy, and you gotta root for him because coming back after that injury and doing what he's done and getting yourself in a situation where you could be successful and your team could be successful, and that's exactly what he's doing. And putting up, like I said, the numbers here: 29 for 41, 311 yards, 2 touchdowns, and yes, he did throw that one pick. But again, I'll watch it over and over. That was not his fault either. I mean, the guy just stopped running.
You also got to credit that defense, though. They are nuts.
It's a hell of a defense, but a defense that's 0-2. So I don't even know.
Okay, so is that? I don't know. No, I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Steelers.
Oh, the Steelers. I thought you were talking about the Broncos.
No. Steelers. No. Right.
No. I agree 100%. The Steelers defense looks like a team that's going to
they can play. 100%.
And again, you got to remember who's in that division. You got the Ravens,
my boys.
You got the Browns. I mean, you heading there in the playoff game.
Oh, it's going to be tough
when you have a defense like that, and then Big Ben will give you a chance. Is what 100%. I'm saying. With that defense, you could probably contain. You're not going to stop Lamar Jackson.
No,
but you could probably contain him and minimize his greatness.
Running,
But hold on. This team gives you a chance. This defense gives you a chance.
I'm when the Ravens play them, I'm scared. 100% scared.
And when James Conner comes out and puts up 16 carries and 106 yards and runs for a touchdown, and
we won't let that happen. No,
and your boy Johnson has 92 yards receiving and a touchdown. I mean, this is a team where
where's Juju at? What was it?
Juju Smith-Schuster is again a conversation you have to have because he's a guy, right? He's a guy who was number 2. Now he's number 1, and people thought this would be the year he steps up. He only had 7 receptions for 48 yards, and it just didn't look like the Juju. No touchdown passes.
Maybe was right.
And maybe, I thought, and I'll be honest, I'll say I was incorrect here. I thought Juju would be able to step up this year, and again, we're after week 2.
Oh, 100%. We got a lot of games left, but
maybe that'll happen later in the year. But right now,
if it's big for them if he does, though. I think it would be huge for obviously huge for their offense. Help Big Ben, figure it out, boys.
Absolutely. So here we go. Now, like I said, we're talking about the Steelers being a team that's going to be there in the end of the day, at least have a chance. Now heading into Carolina, my Carolina Panthers, and obviously the story of the day isn't about the Carolina Panthers. It ends up being about Christian McCaffrey and the fact that he's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks probably with this high ankle sprain.
Unfortunate.
And the Panthers fan, that's obviously devastating to hear, but it's great news to hear that, hey, it's nothing major. It's a high ankle sprain, and yes, he'll be back, and yes, he'll be back better than ever, and he'll look like Christian McCaffrey again. But, hey, Panthers go down big. I mean, we were down 20-0, and I was thinking, hey, you know what? Let's turn off the game and watch something else. All of a sudden, you see some life and some energy come out of them here, and it all is behind McCaffrey. McCaffrey had that receiving touchdown and that rushing touchdown, and all of a sudden, you look back at the score, and it's 20-17. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we have a chance here. And then Tom Brady does Tom Brady. Final score 17-31. Leonard Fournette had that handoff and just totally took off. Brady here gets his first win for the Buccaneers.
Thank God.
Throwing 23 for 35 for 217 yards, 1 touchdown, and obviously that pick. And that was a pick again. He threw it a little bit behind the runner, but he had so much space he could have thrown it so much earlier.
The big question mark right now for the Bucs are these receivers. They have to step up. I mean, he's putting the ball. I just don't. They might be amazed by the pass that he's throwing, but you got to get ready to catch the ball. There's too many drops.
There was 3 or 4 drops that 2 would have been
in the end zone. Yeah, that's what I'm
touchdowns.
saying.
And when I say drops, I'm talking that Tom Brady looked at them and literally was like, "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I just hit both your hands."
Yeah,
beautiful passes that just had great spiral and really got in places where people didn't think the ball could get to. No. You got to make some plays, especially when you got the greatest of all time throwing you the football. So Tom Brady looked decent, and I will say Leonard Fournette, great to see him after his injury woes and everything that went on in Jacksonville, to see him do for 12 carries.
He's happy. That's good.
103 yards and had those 2 touchdowns. Mike Evans, obviously we saw that touchdown.
Yeah.
Great footwork.
Yeah.
7 receiving passes, and he obviously went for 104 and had that touchdown. Story of the game, obviously, is Christian McCaffrey, and I'm hoping to see him back in a few weeks. If you're a fantasy owner, I'm going to say it right now, if you're a fantasy owner and you don't have McCaffrey, and you maybe are 2-0 right now after week 2. Consider making a trade for someone, who may have lost a game, if they have McCaffrey and they're 1-1 or 0-2. Try and make a trade. Give them some of your best assets, and if you can get McCaffrey, it's worth it because if you're already 2-0 and you're heading in the playoff push later in the year, and you have a guy like McCaffrey, it's someone that's going to put up numbers. So consider that as a fantasy owner. Another team you got to talk about, and I love this guy, Kyler Murray. You have to talk about
Kyler Murray.
You have to talk about the Cardinals. Yes, you're playing against the Washington football team.
Though.
And they're one.
They're 1-0. So hey,
so you're playing against them, and all of a sudden, you saw some of the greatness that Kyler Murray could be. And I said to you, he reminds me of Russell Wilson. Exactly, reminds me of even the way he runs and operates.
He's
young Russell
too.
He might be.
He's faster. The way he runs, I was even saying to you earlier. I know everyone said Lamar Jackson the road runner, but I actually think he's more like a road runner, and that's coming from a guy who loves Lamar. His legs move so fast, I don't understand it. He's slick, can't touch him.
And the way he moves laterally is absolutely. I'm going to say it. Lamar Jackson has the quickest feet left to right in the NFL, in my opinion, right now, moving from stopping on a dime.
On a dime, 100%.
But this guy, it might be. It's not that he's quicker, but in my opinion, he gets further faster.
Yeah. Yeah, right. I like that. He gets further faster. That is.
Put that on a t-shirt. He gets further faster.
Faster.
It's exactly
Mark.
Exactly, and that's exactly what we saw here. He got further faster, and they win the game 30-15.
Yeah.
They double the score of the Washington football team. And Dwayne Haskins, who apparently stepped up and had a big leadership role in that comeback win last week in week 1. Throws for 19 for 33 for 223 yards, 1 touchdown. Kyle Murray, on the other hand, 26 for 38, 286 passing yards, 1 touchdown, and he did throw 1 interception. DeAndre Hopkins,
I was going to say.
Great pass.
Unbelievable.
And even a better catch.
Genius on the Cardinals part, by the way.
100%. Eight receptions for Hopkins for 68 yards and 1 touchdown.
He doesn't even have to run the route. Murray just gets open, kind of like what they did with Watson, but he just gets open and he just finds him. Absolutely. It's perfect. It's a great system.
So then heading into the game of that we discussed or highlighted earlier, the Chiefs. Chiefs and Chargers. You're going to see, like I said, your boy comes in, Herbert, and we talked about it earlier, so we're not going to go deep into this one, but what a game for Herbert. He's got to. I mean, if you're a Chargers fan, you have to be excited. You really could be 2-0 here. Really should be 2-0. Yeah. Herbert did enough to win that game. The defense has to make some stops down the stretch, and you really got to hold on for a young rookie stepping up like that. 22 for 33, 311 passing yards. We already said it before. 1 touchdown. He did have that 1 pick, but again, story is going to be Patrick Mahomes. Throwing for 302 yards, 2 touchdowns, 27 for 47, and every single time they needed a play in that fourth quarter, he just does it.
He's just like a miracle worker. It really is. Him, Andy Reid, that big face mask he has on. They just vibe
and that
together.
Pass to Hill was nuts.
It's like classic
like
Mahomes.
Yeah, it's like Madden 2, right? It's like you can't even. The graphics were so bad you didn't even know how the ball got there, but you're happy
it's there. Did. It's out of the screen. What throws it to the moon.
It's exactly what he did here. So 23-20, they get the win, and again, Chiefs 2-0.
Oh yeah,
and they just find ways to win ball games. Now, Texans and your boys, the Ravens, Dan's favorite team, and for those of you guys who don't know, is the Ravens. Kind of. He was a Giants fan. I don't know what's going on.
No, I'm just a Lamar fan since college. No. My heart's with the Giants, but my love is with Lamar.
It's an odd thing, but
I'll let you. I'm passionate about him. No. Honestly, I want to hear what you have to say about him. Honestly, because I know you're always not high on him, but let's hear the numbers.
What I will say is Lamar Jackson is starting to bubble up inside of me. Not in a weird way, but I will say
not in the way that it is for me.
I have never thought Lamar Jackson was going to be a successful quarterback in the NFL. Never, and I'll be honest with you, he goes back to that conversation I was having with you and everyone, I guess the pick vault here listening. The fact of the matter is, in my mind, he reminds me of the guy who's his backup RG3 because he has a great.
Come on,
let me finish.
I know
he has a great time, has a great year, and then. I thought he'd maybe start disappearing. People would start figuring him out. Okay, people were expecting him to run, have a heavy run offense, and all of a sudden he could pass the ball. Last year, they make the run. Everything And I thought this year he was going to see a little bit of a downtick, and that's not what we've seen so far. It's 18 for 24 yesterday, 204 passing yards, 1 touchdown.
It's fine.
And it's great numbers.
Ingram plays great. Dobbins is great, little second back guy. I mean, tight end's always working it.
And I thought the Texans were going to give them a run for their money, and I really thought they could have won this game. And they really should have been. I mean, they were in the game 2 or 3 mistakes, and this game's totally different. They had that,
the defense stepped up.
They did,
and
that's what I'm saying. That pick
was insane. Marcus Peters was.
That pick, that one right there. He throws deep, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere,
it wasn't even on the screen. Talk about a video game. Yeah, that was crazy. But yeah,
the story's got to be the fact that the Texans are now 0-2.
Yeah,
a team that I thought again is a potential playoff team.
They have weapons around. I mean,
and the numbers aren't great. Statistically speaking, to get to the playoffs after being 0-2, But again, it's a team that if you're gonna bet on it, it's something to consider because they definitely have the talent and they do have a good coach and a good system.
They'll win eventually.
So final game recap here before we get into tonight's action and the Monday Night Football thing. That I'm excited. I'm really excited about actually to see what football looks like in Vegas. Let's talk about last night. The Patriots taking on the Seahawks, and it was a great game from the start. Wilson throws that pick in the hands of Olsen, really should have been caught.
Yeah, 100%. Pick 6 right to the house.
A pick 6, and then there's a little tribute to
James White.
Absolutely, the little tribute there. The whole accident that happened yesterday, and our thoughts and prayers go out to James White and his family. But the Patriots have to be what you're talking about this morning. Because, yes, the Seahawks are 2-0, and yes, they look great, and we knew that. We knew that.
Absolutely.
My Super Bowl prediction since day one, my Super Bowl champion prediction, that is, the Seahawks, who were going to win the Super Bowl this year, go to 2-0, and they're now 1-0 at home and 1-0 at the road, even without, that 12th man. But obviously Wilson, 21 for 28, 288 passing yards, 5 touchdown passes.
Yeah, that's crazy. Fantasy. Talk about a fantasy guy.
And that one pick early in the game really shouldn't
have even happened. Yeah.
And that's the MVP of the year, the league.
And that was the last mistake. That was the last mistake that he didn't even make.
First pass of the game.
He didn't even make it.
And last mistake he made.
Right. Exactly.
Cam Newton and the Patriots have to be what you're talking about. Yes. And again, I wanted to preface that by saying, okay, we know what the Seahawks are. They're going to be there. They're going to be. So let's pause.
Yeah, that's fine. But
let's talk about what we don't know.
No.
And
now we know.
And now we are seeing what we do know. They win the game week 1 against the Dolphins. Obviously, people started questioning, can Cam still throw the ball?
That was my big question mark. I said you're going to find out tonight, Matt. But he was high on him, so.
And being a Panthers fan and seeing Cam Newton and watching him, I'm going to say, whoever is the quarterback coach, and I don't know the answer. And I'm not even going to say it's the Patriots. I believe it's going to be the Patriots quarterback coach. But whoever has been working with Cam Newton since he left Carolina.
Oh, it's McDaniels, yeah.
Completely has revitalized his throwing motion.
Yeah.
And I said it to Dan as soon as we watched him. In game 1, I said it looks a little bit different. Game 2 here, we really started seeing Cam Newton throwing the ball.
Whipping it.
And his throwing motion is completely different. Now I know you guys can't see, on this podcast, but just, play it out in your mind here for me. Cam Newton, or if you can, go look at Cam Newton highlights, when he was in Carolina, and then go look at Carolina, now Cam Newton highlights now with the Patriots. This man...
Night and day.
Throws the ball completely differently. And I'm, the motion's the same, but the weight distribution is completely different. And I love it because I have always said it since he got in the league as a Panthers fan. I'm like, hold on. Why are you throwing everything off your back foot?
Like a fadeaway. 2
or 3 passes, and I said it when we were watching the game. So 2 or 3 passes, he kind of went back to that during this Patriots game. But look at him now. Everything that he is doing is moving forward.
That's why he throws it so hard.
And everything he's doing is moving forward now. When he was in Carolina, he'd be releasing the ball and everything would be on that back leg, which is, not what you want from a quarterback, in my opinion. And people always said he just had a weird throwing motion. I always said he's not going to throw the same spiral. He's not going to throw the same accuracy. He's not going to throw the same, and he's always had a good arm. But we're finally seeing it. He looked like, in my mind, better than Tom Brady. And I'm going to say it, better than Tom Brady. The spiral.
Oh, it is tight as could be.
I've never seen Cam Newton be as accurate. He was precision, which I would never use those words to describe Cam Newton ever 100%. Until now. Yeah. He is a precision. He's like Gillette Fusion, the commercial you watch on Gillette Fusion. Pro Glide, precision grade, whatever it is. Well, maybe GMC or something. I don't even know.
But Lamar, that's how I want Lamar to throw the ball like that. Like I even said, like when Cam kind of opens up and throws that little check down pass, like he has a little sidearm, but he throws it tight. But when he steps into it, man, it's a bullet. Like I want to hear what Edelman has to say, honestly. Like who throws the ball harder to you,
Edelman dropped the pass. I will say Edelman dropped the pass that he really should have caught. Cam Newton got the ball there again. We talked about it in the Buccaneers game. Tom Brady got the ball in some places that probably shouldn't have, and all of a sudden. You got to make plays for the guy. Cam Newton had a ball late in the game in the end zone. He threw it a little bit right where only Edelman could catch it. It went right through his hands. You said it to me. You're like, oh, that was a little. He threw it too hard. I'm like, hold on. He had to get it through.
I know, 100%. It's not his fault at all that he threw it too hard. I'm just saying, like Edelman probably wasn't even expecting that. Like again, but you have to be ready. You're in the NFL. Like,
so let's just talk about this here. 30 for 44. Great. I mean, for Cam Newton, that's unbelievable numbers. He looked better on the North Territory, but he looks his best that I've ever seen him look from a quarterback standpoint. Not as a runner, and we'll get into the running numbers in a second, but as a quarterback, he looked like a quarterback today. Cam Newton has always been a great, and he was MVP, but he's always been a great player.
Athlete and a half.
Most valuable player, that's Cam. He could be the MVQ, the most valuable quarterback, because now he looks like a quarterback back there. 30 for 44, 397 yards, almost 400 yards against a Seahawks defense that people
picks
want.
Up Jamal Adams, all this.
People are talking about, and I'm talking about.
Him and Cam were chirping too. I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
So one touchdown. Yes, he did have that one pick, and again, it was because go back and look at that pick. It's because he throws off the back foot there, and I'm
Feel
sure.
Confident.
I'm not saying I know what McDaniel said, but as soon as they went back, they looked at they cut to him, and he's looking at the Microsoft Surface on the sideline. Yeah. And I'm telling you, he's talking about how that weight distribution's got to be where he went back to, Carolina Panther Cam Newton. So obviously from the rushing side of things, though, he looked great. Obviously, two touchdowns,
at the end
two touchdowns, 47, yards.
Unfortunate at the
carries.
end. That was it. That's the only way you put it. It's a
bad play call in my mind. And again, you can't call it that because if it works, everyone's like, oh my gosh, Cam Newton's great, and Bill Belichick's a genius and all that stuff.
It was the battle of the lines. If offensive line, Keyshawn Johnson said this morning on, I think it was First Take, we were listening to it. Battle of the lines. Offense won that one. Offense had won them the whole game, really, and then the defense just absolutely stuffed them, and Jamal got his big tackle. He goes nuts. So they could have easily won that game, though.
So Patriots look great, and I think you have to be considering them, obviously, in the AFC East, even though the Bills, I said, look
they'll be fine. They'll be fine.
A little bit, better. So that's something that you have to be, considering here heading into a playoff push potentially, but it's something that we have to talk about, Patriots being there in the end of the year. So I believe we actually have a caller here on line one. This is Nick Zahos from Reddington, New Jersey.
Same area.
He's a big Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and I'm telling you one thing, he knows football, and that's kind of what we want to talk about as we get ready to transition the conversation from, hey, this was the recap. Now we're looking into what you can make some money on tonight and, Monday Night Football. So, Nick, are you there?
Hey, Matt. Hey, Danny. Yeah, I'm here. Thanks for having me on.
What's up, Nick? How are you, man?
Welcome to the Pick Vault, Nick. And obviously, I wanted to get your take as we discuss, being a Steelers fan. You had last year where a team, had a weird quarterback situation, backups playing, and, you have Rudolph, and then he gets injured, and all of a sudden, So, Big Ben's now back on the field. And the last time we saw Big Ben healthy, he had, Antonio Brown. He had,
weapons.
Le'Veon. I mean,
Juju was Juju.
You're talking about, vintage Ben Roethlisberger. Now, how do you think he's looked here in week one and now in week two, at a 2-0 position, throwing touchdown passes? What are your thoughts on Big Ben and where the Steelers are today?
Yeah, I think Ben he's getting back into the swing of things. I think he's not fully comfortable yet. I don't think the team chemistry is there yet, but it's definitely coming together. They usually get better as the game goes on, and it really shows in their late quarter scoring that they can connect to each other.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we saw that. We saw that there in week 1 against the Giants. They really came alive and ended up putting together some drives. But the conversation has to be, as a Steelers fan, and we talked about it briefly earlier on when we recapped the fact that, you're talking about a team that won 26-21. You got to talk about the fact that their defense puts them in a position to win games.
The hyenas.
So Dan here is a big Ravens fan.
And I'm worried, Nick. I am very concerned, man. When you guys play us, I don't know what to expect because Lamar is going to have to figure it out. That's the game, and Matt said, that's the game I worry that Lamar Jackson may get injured if he gets hit too hard.
So the argument that I made early on, and I wanted to get your take on it, is the fact that Steelers defense is going to put the Steelers in a chance to win the game at some point. It's going to come down to can Big Ben, put it together. And obviously we see Big Ben do it, 311 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 29 for 41 throwing, and he did throw that 1 pick. So as a Steelers fan, being 2-0 in that division, obviously with the Raiders, where do you see the Steelers, let's say, at the end of this year? When we look back and say, hey, this was, Nick Zahos's prediction for where the Steelers are, and all of a sudden we're looking at it and saying, wow, this is where they actually are. Where do you think the Steelers are when we head into the playoffs?
Yeah, bold prediction would have to be them taking the AFC North title. I don't know if it's actually going to happen. It's definitely going to come down to those 2 games versus Baltimore, I'll tell you that. And those are probably our 2 scariest games that we got. But, I mean, last week with 7 sacks, 2 turnovers, and a safety, I mean, they can really play with anyone, and that defense can keep them in any game that they play, really. And I just think more that the offense comes together, that the Steelers can really be a force to be reckoned with in the AFC.
Absolutely, yeah. And I said that to Dan early in the year. I said it's not out of the question for them to win that division.
I was going to say it's not. I wouldn't say that even as a bold prediction. I think it could. It's bold, obviously, because of where the Ravens are, but it's definitely going to be a game.
Like Nick said, it's going to come down to those 2 games 100%. They play each other.
Shows up.
And I think if you're a Ravens fan, and Dan obviously is, you have to be okay with the fact, splitting these games.
Yeah, 100%.
Because I don't think you have any chance with that defense.
You have to win the first one.
Yeah, with that defense, and like I said, Tomlin, and you have Roethlisberger now. Yeah. All of a sudden, you're going to be in games and playing against a tough team like that. You're not going to win twice. So
Ben's going to have to get ready to move, though. That defense is coming for his head.
If the Steelers want to, win that division, I think they're a lock to be a playoff team, and somebody that obviously with that additional playoff, on each team, they had now 7 teams make the playoffs in each side.
I mean, it's there.
So. I mean, you got to expect them to be there, but I agree with Nick. There's a chance it's going to come down to those 2 games, and I really hope we at least have it at the end of the year where there's a chance that they could be the end of the division championship game.
I want to see. Yeah, I want to see it be. Yeah, I want to see it be wild.
I think one of those matchups are definitely going to be game of the year caliber kind of games.
Yeah,
it's one of those.
So obviously, talking about the AFC and seeing where the Steelers are. What are your thoughts on this Raiders team now that they've moved to Las Vegas? And just to give a quick, preview of the game tonight, it's the first time football will ever be played, a home game will ever be played in Las Vegas. And you're going to see the Las Vegas, it's going to be hard to say, but the Las Vegas Raiders taking on New Orleans Saints. And when you're talking about the Saints team, obviously they're a team that finds ways to win every time they're out there almost.
True.
Both teams 1-0. That 1 win for the Raiders obviously coming against my Carolina Panthers, who really are in a bad spot. But again,
Saints beating the Bucs too.
What are your thoughts on this game tonight as we talk about Monday Night Football, tuning in to ESPN, Vegas taking on New Orleans?
Yeah, I think that Vegas taking on New Orleans, I think the key here for Vegas to inaugurate their stadium, I guess, is they're going to have to do anything by any means necessary to get an early touchdown. They want to have the lead and hold the pace of the game with the running game. I don't trust their passing game to catch up to Drew Brees and his wide receivers and his weapons that he has. So I think they need an early lead in order to actually manage this game.
Absolutely. They are a team. Obviously, they have Gruden at the helm there. They're a team that once they get ahead, they're hard to play with. And
Josh
we saw that
they just pound the rock.
In the Panthers game there in week 1. The Raiders were playing with the lead the whole time, and it's not because the Panthers played poorly. The Panthers came back and took a little bit of a lead there late in the game before the Raiders closed it out. But they're a team that you get ahead of early, you got to put them away. That's what they're looking to do, and that's like what the Raiders want to do. They want to get ahead. But this Saints team, even with Brees being as old as he, I think it was 43. 42 or 44?
Yeah, like he's up there. He's up there.
As old as he is, he's finding ways to throw the football. Obviously, last week he was 18 for 30, 160 yards, so light on his yards.
The Bucs D played well though too. So who knows? You can never tell with like a Drew Brees. I think if they stop that run game though, like Nick, you were even saying with like Josh Jacobs, obviously, I think the Saints got it in the bag.
So Nick, what is your pick for the night? We're going to obviously dive deep into what the pick vault is projecting and what we're thinking individually here for Monday Night Football. But what are your thoughts for the game? Obviously, I'll give you the quick numbers here. The Saints are right now -4. The line has completely changed. Originally, it was -6.5, so right around that touchdown mark. A touchdown would have covered there for the Saints. But now that line's at 4. Over under for the game set at 48.5. And Dan, what is the Saints' current money line?
-190.
And the Saints'
their Raiders
money
are
line
+170.
is -190. And this morning, when we started researching for this game, this morning, the line was at -245.
Oh yeah.
So a big line shift coming here from -245 to -190. So heavy money starting to come in on the Raiders. So where do you stand, from a sports bettor's perspective and really from, for all the pick vault listeners out there? What's your thought on, if you're a sports bettor, what are you doing tonight?
Yeah, if I'm a sports bettor, I'm still gonna have to take New Orleans in this one. I mean, just the mere fact that they have a passing game that doesn't need to rely on their run game really does jump out at you as a fan, at least from my perspective, because Derek Carr, for me, like I said, unless he's up, if he doesn't have the run game fooling the defense, he can't find the open holes to pass to and claw his way back. So I really do think that unless the Vegas Raiders are getting out ahead early, that I don't think that there's a way that Vegas can really hold the lead, so to speak.
So on that same questioning, the impact of not having Michael Thomas I know he's injured right now, for the Saints tonight. Yeah. Do you think, talking from the over/under or do you think it's going to be a lower scoring game? Because does that limit what Drew Brees can do? The weapons, he still has Kamara. He's still got some guys there on the edge. Now, what are your thoughts? You got Cook out there for.
Yeah, no, Jared Cook, like you were saying, Emmanuel Sanders, he needs to step up tonight. That was a big pickup for them. If he plays well,
not having Thomas, you think that makes this a closer game? Would you be willing to give up 4 points?
I definitely just think knowing Brees that, because he's been there for years, it didn't really matter who he was really throwing the ball to. He'll get the ball to anyone, open or not. And even last week, Michael Thomas he was close to non-existent. That's definitely going to factor into Vegas's game plan. That last week, the Bucs probably were double covering Michael Thomas, which opened up the game plan to other players. But yeah, this week it'll probably be a tighter contest.
Now, as a Steelers fan, you could appreciate that exact argument right there, and I agree exactly with what you're saying. Not having Michael Thomas, in my opinion, the only difference is. Now you don't have to, from a defensive perspective, now you have an extra defender.
Mono.
And I'm saying from a Steelers perspective, because when you had Antonio Brown, that's what made Juju, what he got known for. Because they had a double Antonio Brown. All of a sudden, it left Juju, at least with a limited, not getting the number one, corner, not getting double teamed. And now you're seeing Juju's numbers go down a little bit. And I do think he'll come back and surprise some people later in the year. But, I mean, we're talking about not having someone that's on the same par, that Antonio Brown was at when he was in Pittsburgh. So look for, some of those guys to have less yards than they normally would catch or less touchdown opportunities. And especially talking about an over-under, I think you got to consider the fact that Michael Thomas isn't going to be there.
Yeah, no, definitely taken into consideration. And I think, scoring-wise, it's probably going to be lower scoring than it normally would be if he was there. But it's going to be an interesting game watching how they react to not having him. And the run game might open up a bit more for them and work in their favor.
Yeah, no, definitely. So, like you said, back to Derek Carr. I mean, last week he had no turnovers, no picks, practically played like picture-perfect football for the most part with Josh Jacobs running the ball. And like you said, do you think that Derek Carr is probably going to get exposed tonight if that's not the case? If he can't run the football like you were saying?
Yeah, he might get exposed to that, but I find it hard to believe that solely passing that he can like if you look at the stat line, like Josh Jacobs, he still had 3 touchdowns. Derek Carr's not going to finish it out with 3 touchdowns. Like on the goal line, they're going to give it to Josh Jacobs. It's kind of a given.
Yeah, right.
So I don't know if it's going to be Derek Carr marching it down with Darren Waller and Ruggs and all of that. So it definitely could go that way, and we'll see how the game plan goes out. But I really think that New Orleans is going to pull it out. I'm not seeing that Derek Carr is going to perform like he did last week.
And from a standpoint of, we try to give for these preview games, we try to give a few, potential plays that you should consider. And like we were just talking about with, not having Michael Thomas and the fact that's going to open up maybe their run game a little bit more for the Saints. And a little, dump passes and stuff. I think one of the plays you really, really, really got to consider, and this just builds value, is the fact of Alvin Kamara to score. Earlier on DraftKings, it was minus 151 for Kamara to score, and for him to score and win, I think that's something. If you want to build some real value, Alvin Kamara to score and win right now is plus 100 on DraftKings. And it's something that if the Saints are going to win the game, Kamara is going to have to be a big factor, especially 100%. Not having Thomas. You're going to have to step up. And like you said before, that offensive line is going to have to open up some holes for Kamara and some of these other running backs.
And for everyone out there too, that's rushing or receiving it. So either
Correct.
way, as long as he scores a touchdown and win,
correct.
Plus 100, great value.
And it's before we fling it over there to Nick to hear what his thoughts are, maybe for a player prop or two that he's considering. What are your thoughts? Because DraftKings, for the boost of the day, I think they do these odd boosts and stuff. They have a little option here for Kamara to do a rushing touchdown and a receiving touchdown.
Could definitely happen. Why not? Throw something on it.
So I guess the question to you, Nick, is what do you think about Kamara's impact on this game tonight specifically? And like we said, because some of those receivers might not be as open as they normally would be because Michael Thomas is out, and you said there's going to be a heavy load maybe on some of these running backs for the Saints. Where do you think Kamara's numbers are looking at, or you think there's not value in Kamara tonight?
No, Kamara is definitely going to be valued high. He's going to have high volume. I just think also that the Raiders, without Michael Thomas being there, they are going to key on Kamara. But I think that won't really make much of a difference because the Saints will find a way to get him the ball, whether it's through the air or on the ground.
That's an interesting point. Matt, that's an interesting point. Maybe I'm not trying to go against my argument, but maybe the fact
I might be swinging the whole thing.
Maybe that Thomas isn't there. That now gives
Emmanuel Sanders. I like that.
Well, the Raiders.
It's going to open up Sanders. It's going to open up Sanders.
What's that at? Let me look at that.
Yeah, they're going to have the key on Kamara. I like that. I never even considered that.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a great
absolutely
take.
Great point. Thank God you said it. Thank God we had you on. I mean, we would have hammered Kamara for sure.
I'm still hammering Kamara.
Yeah.
My player lock of the night is Alvin Kamara to score and the Saints to win. Get the value. Right. Get it at plus 100.
Yeah, Emmanuel Sanders to score plus 125. From the score first plus 900. Who knows?
Wow. Yeah, no, my prop of the night on FanDuel Sportsbook. They got a boost going for Alvin Kamara and Josh Jacobs both score a touchdown, which is plus 350 right now.
Wow.
So I'm slamming that.
So Nick Zahos is building the value going for a plus 350 move. I love that. But I think Kamara will easily score. Who was the other one?
Josh Jacobs, right?
Josh Jacobs.
Did he score there? Oh, he had 3 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, no, he should. I mean, he should have it. Like you said, he gets to the goal line, and I mean, they're going to give it to him.
Well, in week 1 against the Panthers, he went completely off. And that's the only thing I can question is that was a rookie defense. And now you're going up against a team that's played in playoff games. Can he do it? And that's something that I want to see out of Jacobs. I want to see if he could do it and see if he could do it well.
Yeah, that's a nasty defense, too. Cam Jordan up on that line, too. Should be interesting.
So... All right, Nick. Well, I appreciate you coming on air, and we're happy we had you, and we're definitely going to have you come back. By popular demand, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely. Especially when the Ravens are playing the Steelers. I mean, you got to get on.
I'll be on that week.
All right.
So Steelers Nation out there, this is Nick Zahos. Obviously, check him out on Instagram or follow him, whatever you could do. Give him some love out there on Instagram. Nick Zahos, Steelers fan. My cousin and someone who, like
family
I said,
ties.
He knows football, and he's taking the Saints tonight, and he's got a parlay and a half for you guys, plus 350.
Yep, thanks for having me on, man.
Anytime, we'll see you.
See you, Nick.
What a guy!
Great caller again.
Again, we're two for two on
Absolutely.
these callers, and that's like I said, we're pretty much the Saints. The Saints are going to be 2 for 2 tonight after they get the win, and we're now 2 for 2 on callers. So Dan. Give me your, score prediction, for tonight. I said prediction.
Yeah, I like that.
Prediction.
Production? You spell that out for me.
Prediction. Later. It's a prediction and a projection at the same time. So
it's a hybrid.
Dan, let me hear your take here on the game. Saints and Raiders, like we said, first game ever played in this new stadium, which people are calling, one of the coolest places in Las Vegas, and I think it's something that. With the Golden Knights being there, now you're talking about a sports hub that people are going to get excited, especially from a sports betting perspective. This is a place if you're a sports bettor, and obviously if you're listening to this podcast, you at least consider yourself a little bit of a
somewhat active,
a little bit of a gambler, or at least someone who likes sports. You got to consider going out there because the Golden Knights are a team that is changing the way hockey's being played on the ice, and now the Raiders are a team that definitely they got some boxing.
Yeah.
I mean, behind Gruden
in itself,
behind Gruden over the next, I think he has 8 more years on that contract, which was idiotic to begin with. But behind Gruden being there, and obviously Derek Carr and some of these weapons they have, Ruggs and stuff. I mean, you really, really, really got to consider.
Are there going to be fans there tonight? Do you know?
There's no fans.
No fans tonight? Wow. I think that would have really changed a lot of things.
Being in the new stadium, I think you want to christen the stadium
with fans.
Like Nick
it's
said,
a shame, right?
I mean, like Nick said early on, he said, you want to make this right in order to start your career out in a new stadium. So this is the third time the Raiders have moved locations. Obviously, both were being in California because
just want to go right down the coast.
They were, and then Oakland, and now they're here. So it's
probably better off for everyone.
It's something that I think it's good for the NFL that there's a team in Las Vegas. So, Dan, heading in there, the Saints obviously coming in 1-0, Raiders coming in 1-0. Someone's going to come out of here 2-0 and someone's not.
Yeah, and it's going to be the Saints, obviously.
So, let's hear your prediction for the game.
Well, like you were saying, Michael Thomas is out, and for the Bucs, he was getting doubled. He had 3 catches for 17 yards. So, obviously, he was pretty non-existent. Obviously, they still find a way to win the football game. Kamara needs to obviously step up. Like, actually, Nick made a great point earlier that he probably could get doubled. You got Jared Cook at tight end who looked good. Emmanuel Sanders obviously needs to step up, which I think he will because he's a big-time player. I think he was with the 49ers last year, so he obviously played a big role for that team. And I think Derek Carr gets exposed tonight big time. No turnovers, no interceptions. Went 22 for 30, 239 yards. But obviously they pounded the football with Jacobs. So if the run doesn't work against the Saints defense, Derek Carr's going to get exposed. Obviously, he won last game. There's no way they win today. I'm rolling Saints.
Give me your score prediction.
Oh, score prediction? The projection. I got Saints 31-17.
31-17. A little bit of a blowout, so you're having them cover that spread pretty easily and probably early on here in the game. And
I'd probably say go with the over too. Obviously, I want Saints money line as well. I think it's like an absolute lock. So I wouldn't even bother laying the 4 if you want to. You can obviously, but
your score is 31-17. Which is 48.
Oh wow.
There you go. I just got you.
Oh, God. Well, that's a disaster. I'm going to have to think about that one, guys. But Saints, obviously, money line. Lay the 4. You'll be fine. But
I think the 3 plays are, for me, are obviously talking when you talk. I mean, I'm on the same page as you, essentially. But I'm thinking it's going to be 28-24. Very close game.
Okay.
And that number is at 4 right now. I think it's 4.5 some books.
It might drop even more. Who knows, honestly.
Yeah, I'd wait. I mean, right now, and I'm going to give you a hot take here. Not really a hot take. This is just my personal opinion.
I want to hear it.
On why the line has shifted so much. We're talking about the first game in Las Vegas, the betting capital of the world, the gambling capital of the world. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, because when you go to Vegas, you lose all your money, and your money stays in Vegas, and you end up leaving.
I love it.
Well, hold on. So all these people are in Vegas or in a place where you could legally sports gamble. And all these people are there. They're betting on the home team. They want to see the Vegas Raiders win this one.
Yeah, of course. You're at the bar and everything. It's all about the atmosphere.
So I think a lot of this money coming in, as much as it might be somewhat from professional bettors, I think a majority of the money is coming from the public, and a lot of the public from Vegas.
Right, and it's just shifting.
A lot of sports bets are going to be coming in from Vegas. So I think that makes a little bit of an impact. It's probably not shifting it this much. That's what I'm saying. There's probably some heavy action coming in from
that dropped crazy.
That's what I'm talking about. I think the reason you're seeing those numbers go down, it's not only because of
that, obviously,
yes.
but yeah.
I think it makes an impact that it's in Vegas.
Right.
But there's definitely heavy money coming in now on the Raiders spread, at least, which is also tampering with
half those people probably don't even know they could take the points. They're just hammering Raiders money line.
So I'm saying 28-24, and the over for that game.
Would you buy that point? If you're at 4, would you try and get like an alternate line at like 3.5, or like just leave it at that?
What I do is I do Saints plus 4.5. I'm sorry, minus 4.5. I think getting a half point is going to be important. Or honestly, I'd wait a little bit, because this line will shift a little bit more, and you might not want to wait till right before the game, because if you do,
it could go the complete opposite.
Yeah, people are going to be coming in late. I think you're going to see the line shift back, because you're going to see those professional bettors not in Las Vegas. I'm talking about the ones in New Jersey and other places, where gambling is legal. You're going to see that number shift back up. So I'm thinking by game time, the money line will be back up to over 2, minus 200. That is for the Saints. So again, if you want the Saints money line, which I think is a potential really good play, and that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
If you're not comfortable laying the 4 or 4.5, whatever you buy it at, or whatever your book is offering you that, I think you have to really consider the money line, even though you're probably giving up a lot of value.
But still, it's a lock.
So I think the ideal time, and this is just me giving a personal take here, the ideal time to place this bet probably is going to be around that 6 o'clock, 6:15.
Right before dinner.
Frame. Yeah, I would eat your dinner and
you're
then
cooking maybe some pasta, and you just turn around and place it real quick.
Which leads us to obviously the player prop that we want. So Dan, you picked 31-17.
Mm-hmm.
You got to tell me over under just so I can get it down here.
Honestly, I think I'm gonna go under. I'm going to go with the under, right at 48.
So Dan's at 31-17 Saints, which leads it to be Saints money line.
Yeah.
Under Saints minus 4 or 4.5.
Right, and Emmanuel Sanders plus 125 to score a touchdown.
Correct.
That's my plays for the night.
Interesting. I like that.
Very interesting.
My plays for the night are obviously, like I said, the Saints money line, and I have 28-24. I would think you got to buy it to Saints minus 3. I know I said before, and I'm correcting myself. I said minus 4.5. You want to buy it the other way. That's my bad. So you're going to get it at minus 3.5. That's important correction to make here. -3.5. You want to buy the half point so that you cover at that 28-24 mark, because that's where I think the game's going to be right around there. And I will say this: you got to take the over in this one, just because you got Drew Brees on the field and you're in a new stadium. And I do think this team, even as well as they played last week, defensively. This Raiders team put up points.
They can do it.
That's not embarrassingly bad.
No, impressive. Honestly, very impressive.
So I think the over is something you got to very much consider. And then finally, I think a play that normally for a player prop I wouldn't do a parlay, but I'm going to do it. I think
go for
you
it.
have to do Alvin Kamara to score and Saints win. I think if you do that, it's at +100 right now. You're just saying. I mean, this is
they're either both hitting or neither are hitting, so it's going to happen.
Exactly. But again, I don't think you have to worry about either.
No, exactly.
The only thing that can come back, and I will preface this, and when in a league, sorry about the sirens in the background there.
That's a sign right there. It's a lock.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the buzzer going on.
Lock it in right now.
Better lock it in. That's Vegas calling.
So yeah, lock it in. And what I was saying about Kamara is essentially this is something that if you do want to get it in, right, this play. He's probably going to score early on in the game, and you could probably just care about the money line.
Yeah, right. And then maybe even double up on the money line. Who knows? Get nuts with it. But I like the parlay also. I like that.
Good. So this has been the Pick Vault, and obviously one of our longer episodes.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to make one thing clear before we actually call it quits for the day and let you guys go place your bets. Like I said, around that 6:15 mark, get everything in and enjoy your night. And you'll make some money tonight. Tonight's a night that I will say you will probably make some money.
I hope so.
And it's something that you should enjoy. And obviously, we're not guaranteeing any success here. And if you have a gambling problem, you might want to get that checked out.
They have I could get you the number for that maybe.
So here it is. This is the Pick Vault and Matt Taylor. Dan, I knew you wanted to say one thing before we left.
What was that, Matt?
About how we're going to do visual.
Oh yeah. So we're hoping in the next probably like 2 to 3 days that you're going to be able to obviously see us, see the set, see the stew, probably see a little bit of Fenway, obviously. And we're excited for it. We just have to work out some technical difficulties, and you're going to be able to see us, and maybe we'll get a little more interaction too with the callers.
So all these podcasts will be uploaded to YouTube, Instagram, we're hoping Facebook, and the audio files we're going to get onto, and this might take a little bit more time, onto Apple Music and the Spotify.
Yeah.
But the most important thing is that you guys know that our mobile application is still in the works. I know we wanted to get it out to you guys before the NFL season started. And for the meantime, you guys are getting free picks for the Pick Vault, and that's what this podcast really is for. But once the application comes out, you guys can listen to us on a daily basis. You'll get to see us, hear us, and interact with us through messaging and obviously callers. And if you're interested in calling or being a caller at the Pick Vault, all you got to do is go to our Instagram page and send us a DM, and we'll see what we can do to get you on at some point in time, or at least address any questions on air that you may have. So if you have any questions, obviously like this post and share it with your friends.
Yeah.
And we look forward to helping make this thing grow into something that could unlock your money. So this has been the Pick Vault, and I'm Matt Taylor alongside Danny Siv, and we are
OUT out.
You've been listening to the Pick Vault, America's premier sports gambling consultation firm. Matt Taylor and Danny Siv are ready to make you a winner and unlock your money. Make sure to hit the website at www.thepickvault.com. Find the app and subscribe to receive exclusive member content, including our picks, live updates, and sports news. Follow on Twitter and Instagram at The Pick Vault, taking sports gambling to the next level. Till next time, this is The Pick Vault, signing off.
This the Pick Vault. Gonna sit you down and listen to this real talk. Ain't no first or second option, this the default. Turning picks into these dollars, gonna let them fall. Raining down these daily winnings like an aerosol. Analytics calculated just to win it all. Problems when it comes to choosing, we got all them solved. Got the picks that needin' fixed, and you know who to call. Cause this the Pick Vault.